This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Today's episode of the DocNJock Wrestling Podcast is brought to you by The Athletic. Premium coverage for passionate Detroit sports fans. Listeners of this podcast can save 20% off the first year of an annual subscription by visiting theathletic.com/DSP. Don't miss out on a great Detroit sports website, great content, and great features. Go visit theathletic.com/DSP to subscribe and also save.
Oh my God!
Welcome to the podcast that smacks your face like a steel chair to the dome. This is the DocNJock Wrestling Podcast, episode 28. I am the Jock, and rolling with me, as always, he is my colorful, creative, sometimes wearing tassels and baby oil cousin. He is the Doc, John Macaroon. What's going on, cuz?
Reality superstar, baby.
That's right.
Talented.
That's right.
Multifaceted. I'm a guy that brings it. I'm a 5-tool player, and I'm ready to deliver, baby. What's up?
5-tool player. And, we got a 5-tool player podcast today talking wrestling. We've got to review the greatest Royal Rumble ever. That took place last Friday. We've got to review Raw. We've got to review Smackdown. Do you realize we've got Backlash coming up this weekend, too?
Jam-packed, bro.
Oh, my goodness. Plus, I got some news and notes about crazy stuff. So let's start this podcast off with the review of the greatest Royal Rumble ever. We're just going to kind of move through this quickly.
Yes.
It was a glorified house show, right?
Great heist by Vince McMahon. Seriously, they got to be sitting there. Triple H, Stephanie, Shane, Vince McMahon, 10-year deal, $25 million per year to put on a show like that. Call it the greatest Royal Rumble. It was fun to watch. There were a lot of great matches that were better than WrestleMania. But when you don't have any title matches, a lot of botch spots.
I was going to say a lot of botches.
You don't have any females on the card. You have some controversy with some of the endings of the matches that you have. You have 50 men in the battle royal. Holy cow, it was long. I think that the way I look at it is, man, Saudi Arabia deserved a little bit more. The card was great. It was stacked. But if you don't want it to be viewed as a glorified house show or just a great DVD, you got to ask Vince, look, make it storyline relevant. Yeah. You know, just having the new tag team champions on Raw to be the feature and then to have the biggest moment. I guess, I don't know if it's funny or insulting that the biggest moment that greatly overshadowed the entire event is a dude tripping, entering the ring into the Royal Rumble. So I look at it and I go, I like the pacing of the card. I liked watching it. I could not watch it for 5 hours straight through on Friday. I watched a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit live, caught a lot of it. A lot of the matches were great, so the way I told you was, look, all you needed to watch was AJ Nakamura, you needed to watch the Royal Rumble, and maybe you could have watched another match here or there, but that's about it. You didn't need to watch the whole thing to get anything out of it. You didn't miss nothing. And the way I looked at it, top to bottom, you could have missed it. It wasn't really relevant, but in the end, a lot of things you can talk about from a card that they called the greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, like you said, glorified house show, ton of botches. I was less than impressed with it. Greatest heist ever by WWE. Let's just kind of get into what happened on the card.
Oh, yeah, definitely give credit to the IC match. You need to see that because it was really good.
That was like the best match
that was
on
the best,
card.
Yes.
So John Cena, Triple H, they curtain jerked. They opened the show. Cena wins.
Fine.
Good match. Cedric Alexander defeats Kalisto in a solid match. This is one of the better Kalisto matches in a long time.
Yep.
In the most predictable match of the afternoon, because this was that afternoon, Hardy and Bray Wyatt win the Raw Tag Team belts over the Bar. There was no chance the Bar was winning this. They're on SmackDown. How are they going to win the Raw belts?
If you wanted a surprise and to freak people out, you could have the Bar win it.
Yes, absolutely.
That would have been cool.
It would have been. And you could have, like, at a house show, you could have sat there and exchanged them right back. Jeff Hardy beats Jinder in a very sloppy match that had a huge botch.
Poor, very poor.
Jeff Hardy goes up to do a whisper in the wind. Jinder's supposed to be there to catch him. He's nowhere to be found. Jeff Hardy ends up hitting the mat. Jinder, apparently the ground shook when Hardy landed because he just fell over like he got hit by the move.
All you had to do was just let it play out. You didn't have to take the ball.
No, you didn't.
It's a mistake on Jeff Hardy's part. Maybe he just didn't get exactly to the part where he could be caught. So then Jinder just go with it, do a leg drop. That's it.
It's it. Or you pick him up, you grapple for a second, you let Hardy hit you in the face with a right hand.
You can't have botches at that level. You can't just fall. Because
it's just bad.
You're not protecting the business doing that.
At all.
Poor.
Bludgeon Brothers retain over the Usos, of course.
Quick match, and unfortunately it could have been better, but we both knew the Bludgeon Brothers were going to handle business.
Yes. In my notes here, I have, in an awesome match, Rollins defeats Balor, Joe, and The Miz to keep the IC belt.
5-star match, worthy of the IC title.
Match of the night.
Match of the night. It was great. The way they ended it was great with having Finn almost get it. He has a little bit of a nasty cut from the ladder, but in the end, Seth Rollins takes down the belt and retains, and it was a quality match all the way through. And I love the entrance for The Miz, gave him some props with the fireworks. They did not pull out any stops, man. They definitely gave, in terms of production value, they gave Saudi Arabia a lot in that, and Saudi Arabia delivered, man, with the pyrotechnics. And hey, man, all you can say is money talks, and if you want to have a big-ass show and someone's going to pay you to do it, you go all out.
In a match that I think is going to alter the way we do our calling the card. I think from now on we're going to start adding in double countouts, or we're going to start adding disqualifications.
If you want to call it, you could have a bonus point. If you say a match ends with no winner and you want to stake claim to it, I'll take extra points, no problem. Yeah. Like I said, I want to take points too for if we have a battle royal and your guy lasts longer. Then you get a half point too. So I think half points should be bonus.
Always looking for those bonus points.
Bonus points should be definitely throughout our calling the cards. No problem. I vote yes. No problem.
AJ and Nakamura ends in a double count.
It was an awesome match. Bad ending. That's just not the way you do it.
Very frustrating.
Very frustrating way to end it. I know you want to get to the next match at Backlash. That's fine. I mean, you could just have Nakamura win it. I mean, you could have had it done that way, or you have AJ win it, but maybe AJ doing something a little bit shady, or you have someone else, you have Gallows and Anderson maybe interfere. You do something to, even put a little bit of heat on AJ for this matchup, but having a double countout's fine. At least the match was high quality. It was really good, more intense, and both guys worked a great match. And it's unfortunate because you would think the WrestleMania match would have been that. It wasn't. This match was better. And so if that's the case, you hope, you're excited for them the third.
Absolutely. In a match where The Undertaker looked pretty good for the most part.
Solid.
He defeated Rusev.
Rusev can go 10 minutes, and Cena can only go 2, huh? That's interesting.
Another crappy version of Lesnar beating Reigns, only this time it was in a steel cage where Roman Reigns' feet touched first.
Stupid ending. Stupid.
So
controversial. Why do you even add the controversy? Brock's back hit, he wins. I think you let it play out for itself. It's just embarrassing now because you've hyped up Roman Reigns. He doesn't have the belt. So what does that say? Where do you put him? And they keep trying to...
How many matches can you get before it
no
totally
more.
devalues what you're trying to do?
Nobody's going to buy it anymore. Nobody.
At some point, Roman Reigns, they have to get off this Roman Reigns train.
Exactly.
I like Roman Reigns, but you're doing him a disservice. And either you need to now flip him and switch him heel, or you've got to reinvigorate his character.
A year invested in this, and he doesn't. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, this is not. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. Braun Strowman outlasts the roster, because that's basically what was in this 50-man Greatest Royal Rumble.
I love this story. Why not pay it off? Why not let Daniel Bryan win it? That would have been the best story of wrestling.
Dude, did you see his chest?
It was nice, dude.
Oh my God, it was so
Roderick
chopped
Strong
up.
destroyed
Holy
it.
cow.
And afterward, if you saw the video on WWE, he said it invigorated him to be in the ring with Roderick Strong, a former rival. And he's like, he was, chopping me to pieces, and he liked it. He's like, this is what gets me going. And Roderick Strong had a good showing.
Yeah.
I thought the surprises were a little bit weak. I mean, Hornswoggle's fine, Rey Mysterio's fine, Chris Jericho got a huge pop. But in the end, when a guy falls, when Titus O'Neil falls, if you looked at it though,
he slip and slid all the way underneath the ring.
It's funny because he's okay and it played out so fast.
Yes.
But if you think about it,
He almost busted his face.
he could have died.
Yes.
I mean, literally, because if he moves an inch to the right, there's a steel pole right there. If he goes head first into that, I don't know how he doesn't need 50 stitches because he would have went head first into a pole. So he got lucky. He just went smooth under the ring and came out. And then what made it really funny
could have
is
hit and underneath those rings.
Yes,
especially
stuff.
right there. Yeah, they've got studs.
Yeah.
and metal girders.
the fact
that
that
support that
I'm
ring.
thankful he just got up, and that made it funny because Corey Graves couldn't hold it together, and it kind of seemed like Byron Saxton tried to move it along and be like, let's not make this funny, but Corey Graves is a pro. He knows this is a moment. This is effing hilarious, and he kept laughing with it. That's what made it funny. And then the GIFs afterward, thank goodness Titus O'Neil's fine, but in the end, the next night on Raw, they blow it. they don't have a great opportunity to take advantage of a guy who now got himself over in a silly way. You don't take advantage of it.
Oh, dude,
right
they're
way.
going to run this into the ground. And it's going to be awful.
It's going to be awful. Yeah,
it's going to be horrible. Before we get to Raw, you nailed 7 out of the 10 matches we had to call.
Yes.
I only got about half correct.
Yes.
At this point, I lead by a half a point.
Caught up, baby.
Yeah, you did in a big way.
I knew the Greatest Royal Rumble was basically going to be a card that the favorites are going to win and all the title holders were going to win. So that's unfortunate that they did that to Saudi Arabia. But how, like I said, it's just all you can do is walk away going, wow, you want to handshake Vince McMahon and go, bro, you're stealing from Saudi Arabia. You stole 10-year deal. But
that's that oil money, baby.
I got to ask you, though, did the WWE sell out? Because you look at it and you go,
yes.
You did it for money.
Yes.
You did not have the women.
Yes.
You did not have Sami Zayn, who's Syrian, was not able to, and you kind of played up some politics involved. And so, there are some political ramifications. The Saudis sometimes, and the things that they do in terms of their practices, Finn Balor was not allowed to wear the rainbow tights.
Here's the
inclusive. It's illegal to be homosexual in Saudi Arabia,
kill you.
And they do bad stuff to you. So in that,
kill you.
You're a global brand. You are
absolutely. They sold out.
They sold out.
Yeah.
You agree with it? $25 million a year.
A lot of money. Here's the thing.
But they did good. They paid women. They did pay. Pay some money.
We're going to talk about all that in the news notes. You're spoiling all the news and notes.
I can't help it because it's just like it is the ultimate moral dilemma.
Yes,
it's a situation you can peel back and not just focus on wrestling. In the end, you could talk about anything in that nature. Someone hands you $25 million, but you got to compromise your values, and especially what you're talking about currently. Imagine Doc and Jock are about equality, and we're about mental health, and we go to a place that hates mental health, but they give us $50,000 to show up and do a podcast in a place where they begrudgingly hate mental health, or they hate athletes, or they hate diabetes, or something like that. You just go, man, they're giving us money, but this kind of making us sell out. And so those are the kind of things I like talking about. But in the end, 25 mil is 25 mil.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of jack.
It is.
That's a lot of jack for the coffers, and you got to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Got to do it, baby.
I mean,
take that green cash.
I think the way WWE handled it,
but it's dirty. It just feels dirty.
It is dirty.
It's dirty money.
I think the way WWE handled it, though, by paying the women who didn't have to show up and didn't have to do the grueling schedule.
Yeah,
I think they've done right by as many people as possible. I think some of
they made the best of the worst situation.
I think some of the storylines could have been done a little bit more tasteful.
Yeah.
But it's what it is. It's WWE. I mean, this is the same thing where Vince McMahon pulled his pants down and had a chick basically kiss his beehole. So it's what it is. All right, so Raw.
Man.
Overall thoughts on this dumpster fire of a show.
Was my assessment of the first hour correct? Wasn't it garbage?
It was awful.
The first hour of Raw was absolutely terrible.
It didn't get much better the next 2 hours.
Exactly. I tuned out. I was into the show very superstitious because I was on it. So I watched some of the other shows prior to 10:30. I DVR'd it, and after the first hour, I'm like, bro, this is bad. The only little concerning part was my daughter was really believing Bobby Roode. She asked a couple more times, is Bobby Roode okay? I'm like, yes, he's okay. He'll be fine. It was so bad because it's just
she believes they're really fighting, huh? That's awesome. Don't ever break that for her.
It would have been more believable had you not shown the replay.
Yeah.
He did not hit his neck. And then they're like, oh, well, the way he landed that. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
I would have believed it more if they just did not show a replay. He's really hurt. Oh, my goodness. Cut away to commercial. Make it believable. You don't show, oh, he hit his chest. Now it's like, dude, you've done this before. The Ricky Steamboat angle has been played out. This is the way you want to get Bobby Roode over. It did nothing.
Yeah.
It was stupid. That's not how you character develop Bobby Roode. Then you got Baron Corbin. You want to character develop him, and you have him lose to No Way Jose. What are you doing with character development? It's a go-home show. It's the Backlash go-home show. It was garbage. Raw was horrible. I don't even think anything I liked about Raw. Nothing.
There wasn't so the best match again, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
That was quality. But you're right. You're absolutely right.
It's the fourth time I've seen it.
Yes. Everything else on the show was absolute trash. Everybody hates Roman Reigns, including Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Jinder. And I think the best part of the night was the opening when Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens come out and they spoke French to the Montreal
nice.
audience. That was the best part.
Yeah.
The rest of the show was hot garbage.
The show was the fans. They did great. They were into it. They were cheering. I mean, that moment, a WWE moment was created when Seth Rollins is in the ring. He then goes out and says, merci beaucoup, because they were screaming their heads off. And it was like, literally, people were saying it was as loud as if they were playing soccer. So it was great. But just the other thing in terms of the wrestling, it's like you got, Bobby Lashley. Again, now you put him in a tag match. He comes out and, in terms of a rescue, and crickets. Everybody was cheered. Bobby Lashley comes out, and that's the guy.
Do you think they're mishandling the usage of Bobby Lashley?
Yeah, 100%.
I agree with you 100%.
You are totally misusing.
I mean,
they are totally misusing Bobby Lashley, and he's got to work on his wrestling a little bit too. It's kind of some of his mistakes that he made in the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia could have got some guys seriously hurt.
He
so
dropped a big cast on his head.
Yeah, that was not looking too good. So Bobby Lashley, it's just right now the first month, I would call it a massive F in terms of how they've utilized him. Great, you got Braun Strowman, and I guess now at Backlash, it's Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Seriously? That's what you're rolling with? You got Braun Strowman. That he needs to be involved in major storylines.
He needs to be the WWE Universal Champion.
Yeah, fight Seth Rollins or something. Do something
he needs
awesome.
to be a champion. He needs to take the belt off of Brock Lesnar.
Raw was garbage. Raw was absolute garbage. If you miss it, you didn't miss much. It wasn't that great. The moment of bliss I thought I could get into, but that was stupid. I'm like, come on. And then, I can understand, using Natalya and Ronda Rousey in an angle, but it just not popping. It's just not drawing my interest the way I thought it would. And I just thought that for a go-home show, you didn't move along any of the angles. They were going to go light because of the fact all these dudes flew 14 hours, had basically 12 hours to rest, and had to get back into traveling. So in that situation, you got to maybe worry about the timing. Maybe you do the event on a Thursday, give them an extra day so that the card is better, or maybe not do a pay-per-view a week later because it made Raw awful. Awful. It was horrible. It's probably the worst one of the worst ones of the year. Yeah. And you go over to SmackDown, it's a lot better. If you wanted a chance to kind of recap the week in wrestling, at least SmackDown put together some stories and some angles that you could get into and things like that. And then you had cross promotion again with others showing up on SmackDown. So I enjoyed it. I thought that SmackDown, at least for a 2-hour show, saved the week after a pretty abysmal 3 hours.
Yeah, I thought SmackDown was really good. You opened with The Miz doing Miz TV. This ended up leading to a tag match with Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. They ended up beating Shelton Benjamin and The Miz in what was a really solid match. It kind of sets the stage for Backlash as Randy Orton RKO's Jeff Hardy at the very end. So I liked the way we got into SmackDown. I thought it was done well. Another highlight for me, you got more good work out of Cass, showing that it wasn't a one-time thing. Comes out, cuts another really good promo, this time not wearing his suit, but wearing his trunks. He involves a midget who is dressed like Daniel Bryan. I thought it was great. I thought it was funny. I've been so impressed with his return lately. It blows my mind that this is the same guy who we were talking about sounding like a robot and needed Enzo Amore to be his mouthpiece. Something happened after he sat there and tore his ACL. And by God, it's been the best thing for him. Yes. I think it's awesome.
Very awesome. Very awesome. I'm very impressed. I was really enjoying his presence and things like that. And so it's going to be fun to see him at a pay-per-view in a major match.
Yes.
Major match. What was your favorite part of SmackDown for you?
It had to be Samoa Joe coming out and calling out AJ Styles.
Okay.
I thought it was great.
Nice.
I love Samoa Joe, and I've seen some Samoa Joe AJ Styles matches from TNA.
It will not fail to deliver.
It will not fail to deliver. This is going to be awesome, and if they time it right and they build it correctly...
SummerSlam?
Yes.
Yeah.
This could be your payoff at SummerSlam.
You got it.
This will be great, because Samoa Joe can handle... building the match on the microphone. Everything he says, you believe. You think he's a straight-up killer. AJ Styles is the white meat babyface.
The baddest man on planet. Yep.
This is going to be awesome.
Yes,
I love that
so.
Samoa Joe's coming for AJ Styles.
Yep. Paige announced that Absolution is dead. You had a pretty good 6-way tag match with Becky, Asuka, and Charlotte versus the Iconics and Carmella. It was done well. Like I said, for a wrestling show, the extra day off definitely paid off well for all of these individuals. Miz TV, always, whenever you have a Miz TV on,
it's always great.
It's always great. And I'm liking the fact that SmackDown at least saved the week because, man, if they ended SmackDown with a terrible show, you would have then gone from a glorified house show to build up for Backlash being awful. No. So I think you and I both agree. The verdict is SmackDown way better.
Yes.
They didn't even have to do much. They could just put on a show and anything would have been better than what the hell Raw was.
Absolutely. Raw leads still 20-16 in which show is better. Let's get right into trying to predict the card for Backlash. In a match that is going to be no disqualification, AJ Styles versus Nakamura for the WWE Championship.
Okay.
Who do you think wins this?
Now, it looks like there's going to be 8 matches, so we both got to do a good job here of trying to figure out maybe some bonus points and things like that because there could be a tie. So we might have to have a tiebreaker as well, should we have a tie. So we'll work that through.
Okay.
But we'll go through it. WWE Championship, AJ Styles, Nakamura. Their third go around, you expect it's going to continue to be a great feud. I don't think yet you give the heel the title just yet. I'm still going with AJ Styles until I believe that it's time for Nakamura. I think it's going to be a great match. I think this is a situation where AJ Styles continues to hold over and be the man versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Maybe not a pin, maybe a submission. I think one way you get over on a heel is to not only beat him, but to have him submit. So maybe the calf crusher does the job. AJ Styles, Nakamura, I just don't see it. I don't see Nakamura yet being ready to carry it. I know that when you have the heel is going to do heel-type stuff, but in a no DQ match, I don't know what else he can do, but you got to give me AJ Styles. I just don't want to believe him losing. I don't want to see it yet.
All right, you're going to go with Calf Crusher. I'll go with Styles Clash for the win.
Okay.
Next, WWE Raw Women's Championship, Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. I got Nia Jax winning this.
Yeah.
I don't see any way you put the strap back on Alexa right now.
Too soon, right. Nia Jax, no doubt about it. Good match, too. It probably should be good. Continuing their feud, they probably have chemistry as friends. Nia Jax keeps the belt.
I agree. WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, Carmella versus Charlotte. Who do you got here?
You don't, I mean, many people.
This is tough.
This one is tough because you would assume the way they've done it before, do you give Carmella a title reign of a week? No. A couple months? It should be longer than that after making her wait a year. So, and you probably figure something weird is going to happen, but I say at the end of the day, Carmella keeps the belt.
I agree with you. I think Carmella wins. I will say this much for a bonus point here. I think the Iconics are going to get involved somehow.
Maybe force it as a win, maybe for Charlotte, but a DQ where she doesn't get the belt.
Well, no, I don't think.
No?
I don't think a DQ.
You think Carmella wins outright pins or submits her?
No. What I think happens is the Iconics get involved somehow, whether they distract the referee, and that leads to them either doing something nefarious or whatever, and Carmella gets the pin.
Bam, the move.
Yep.
Her finisher does her finisher and takes out Charlotte. Okay.
Yep.
Probably a candidate for match of the night, Seth Rollins, the champ, versus The Miz. So you have a situation where it's a cross-branded situation where you have Seth Rollins, who's on Raw, and you have The Miz. So do you put a premier title on The Miz again? I don't know. Do you want him, because he's been hyping up the fact that he's close to, having some record here of getting the Intercontinental title. I think Seth Rollins is hot. I don't see a scenario in which Seth Rollins loses this because of the fact that you keep that premier title on Raw. You need it. If you don't have it on Raw, you don't bring The Miz back on Raw. You need that character because Brock Lesnar is going to take a hiatus. Seth Rollins can be in the main event with the Intercontinental title. So at the end of the day, Seth Rollins, champ, keep him with the belt. It makes too much sense. There'd be way too many questions. Or what would you do if he didn't have the belt?
Absolutely. It doesn't make sense to move the belt over to SmackDown right now. You keep Seth Rollins with the belt. You leave it all on Raw. Seth is hot. Do the thing. Let it go. I think when Seth Rollins is going to drop it, he's going to drop it to Finn, and you could probably see a heel turn coming from Finn very shortly. WWE U.S. Championship, Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton.
This one's tough because you have to have one title change, right? How do you go through the whole card where you have AJ Styles, Nia Jax, Carmella, Seth?
Just did for the greatest Royal Rumble ever.
I know, but this is Backlash, and I think probably there's going to be room for a lot of error out of these 8. But for me, I think you can go different direction with Jeff Hardy without him having a belt. I think Randy Orton giving him a belt opens up a lot of feuds that you can have with Randy Orton, and so WWE U.S. Championship match, straight up, give me Randy Orton. I like the Apex Predator.
I'm going to go different than you. I'm going to say Jeff Hardy retains.
Okay.
All right. Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe.
This one's going to be tough because both guys need a win badly. In the end, though, I think after the year that Roman Reigns had, it's time to put over others. And so how do you build up Samoa Joe by having him lose? That'd be tough to have him lose feuds to Brock Lesnar and then follow it up with, a significant time off with injury. How do you build him off as a badass and not have him beat Roman Reigns? So Samoa Joe gets over.
Yeah, I think I was sitting there the other night thinking about this match, and I was like, how do you move either one of these storylines forward, right? Because they're not on the same brand. They're different guys, and right now they're both tracking in different spots. Joe's on an upward climb, and it seems like Roman Reigns is on a downward spiral. You don't want to take any heat off with Joe right now, and especially since he's going to be entering into a contest with AJ Styles. So I think Joe wins this match. Reigns loses yet again, and I think this is kind of the build for whatever that switch is in Roman Reigns. Maybe they do something like with The Rock. The Rock went away for a little bit, came back as The Rock with a little bit of an attitude. a little bit of
Maybe
an
Samoa
edge.
Joe injures Roman Reigns. Storyline injury.
There you go. And
Just
you
have him some time off.
Yeah, take him off TV for a little bit. How can I miss you if you don't ever go away? And Roman Reigns has been killing it now for weeks. He's been the Iron Man on TV and for this company for years now.
Storyline injury would not be a bad idea.
No. All right, so Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. I got Daniel Bryan winning this.
Yeah.
I like Big Cass, and I feel bad saying this, but I don't know how you have Daniel Bryan lose this match.
Exactly. But Daniel Bryan does not pin Big Cass. Big Cass cheats. Now he's a heel. What do heels do? They flip out. They do things. Disqualification. I want the bonus for that. I think that Daniel Bryan does not pin and get the 1-2-3 on Big Cass. I think that Daniel Bryan will get beaten. He'll be a masterful performer in the ring. He'll get over. Big Cass will definitely look like a monster, but in the end, he's a heel. And what do heels do? They don't care. So he'll eventually do something to get disqualified, or basically it'll be a great match after the 15-minute mark. He'll just keep punching past the 5 count, and the bell will ring, and Daniel Bryan will win via disqualification.
All right, next match. Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I like Kevin Owens. I like Sami Zayn. I just don't see how you beat
scenario.
Braun Strowman or Bobby Lashley.
I was like, oh, you got to hand me the win. There's no way that Braun Strowman loses for the foreseeable future.
No.
He's a monster. With Bobby Lashley, please, you know what? There's a chance, if you want to get it spicy, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn could use that big third man and turn Bobby Lashley into a clear heel.
Ooh.
That, if you want to do something and you want to, get creative as the writer that I am, I think that, I could go that route. But no, I think Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley win. But if you want to get creative, I think there's a chance to maybe then clearly establish Bobby Lashley as a badass. And if you're going to be a badass and you want to work your way up to Brock Lesnar, maybe, just maybe, you have Bobby Lashley turn on Braun Strowman and become the massive heel. Get a little feud action in the next couple pay-per-views. Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman. Now you have some fun on Raw, and then you build up. Maybe you give Bobby Lashley a little bit of the push, cheating-wise, or however you get Bobby Lashley over on Braun Strowman, and that's how you make the path from Braun Strowman to Brock Lesnar. Because
I'm not upset with it.
That's
I'm
a
not
rumor.
upset with it.
You got to think of a path. How do you build up? How do you build up Bobby
I'm not upset
Lashley?
with that, but the thing is, I think Bobby Lashley
Right now he's a face, right?
He is a face. Yep. Bobby Lashley's going to take on Brock Lesnar supposedly at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, you generally want at least Vince likes a face and a heel to sit there and go head to head. I don't think that you turn Bobby heel here. I think maybe after he gets his championship, or if he loses to Brock, then you can do it, but not until then, because you want the face and you want the heel, and that's what Vince usually likes. He likes a good guy and a bad guy.
Yep.
All right, so going to calling the card, Jock needs to figure it out really quick because Doc has crushed the last 3 pay-per-views and has now climbed back into the saddle. It's 4 to 3.5, so Jock's got some work to do.
Let's see what happens. It's going to be a fun card. I think it'd be fun pay-per-view. I like the new co-branded efforts to see AJ Styles in the mix every single pay-per-view. Can't go wrong with that.
That's right.
Can't.
All right, so some news and notes.
Hit me with the news and notes for the week. Well-paced podcast, sir. Very good. I knew we had a lot to get to, but we went through it seamlessly like pros. Yes, I like it.
It's like we know what we're doing. Give us 18 shows or 28 shows. We'll figure it out.
Yo, yes, right.
All right, so news and notes. You mentioned it earlier. WWE will be earning between $20 to $25 million for the greatest Royal Rumble ever, and this will continue every year for the next 10 years.
So we're going to have a greatest Royal Rumble every year.
Well, it might not be a greatest Royal Rumble, but they'll be going to Saudi Arabia or they'll be going to the Middle East at least one time
with
every
a major
single
card,
year.
With a major card,
Yes.
probably for a network event.
Yep.
Wow.
Exactly. WWE, like you had mentioned before, will also pay the female superstars who were left off the card. Sami Zayn was left off the greatest Royal Rumble card because he's of Syrian descent, while Arya Daivari has received death threats due to his appearance on the greatest Royal Rumble ever.
I like that part where they had the Saudi guys that were training. They went in there and Daivari comes in talking smack, and then they handled their business. I thought that was a very fun, cheap plug, very good. They got the cheap pop. It was very awesome. I like that part, but at the expense of getting death threats, holy cow, that stuff was serious.
Taking it a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Some recent news, some weird news, I guess, coming out about greatest Royal Rumble ever. The Saudi prince had a couple requests for certain people to be included in the show. Among those requests were Yokozuna and the Ultimate Warrior. There's one problem. Both those dudes are dead. So that might explain why the big sumo wrestler was there, because he looked like Yokozuna.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, I wonder who was tasked to sending that email. Are you guys familiar with the brand? The Ultimate Warrior.
Look, Vince didn't care. You were giving him 20 mil for this show. He was like, cool, bro.
Yeah.
I'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen. Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah.
It's like, we want these guys. We want Hulk Hogan.
Oh my God! You remember? I think it was 2014 is when Ultimate Warrior died. Like right after he got inducted to the Hall of Fame.
So they like the old school wrestlers, man. That's funny, man. You could have Doink. You could have the Bushwhackers. That'd be funny if they started.
Isn't Doink dead, or one version of Doink dead?
See, that's what sucks is that you have 50 men and you use all the jobbers in your mid card. You didn't get no surprises.
Hey, if you get a chance, go check out Dead Wrestler Beach.
Yeah,
you'll love it on YouTube. Check it out. It's great.
Was disappointed. I wished you have a perfect situation there to get the wrestling world over. That'd been great if they had Cody Rhodes come back. That would
that'd been awesome.
In Saudi Arabia, make some noise. I think Cody Rhodes has done a great job with his Ring of Honor stuff and all the stuff he's done away from WWE. It's time to bring the Cody Roadster back to WWE and be a badass face. And
he's got some big stuff going on.
Big stuff
in ROH.
Big stuff. Yeah, no doubt.
Speaking of big stuff, Big Show. There's a segue for you. Big Show has been working out to come back. However, he hurt himself during his training, so this will delay his return. And John Cena and The Rock. Two guys who are megastars from WWE. They will star in what is believed to be a buddy cop movie. So this is going to be funny. This will be interesting. Look, I don't know how you feel. I love The Rock, and I love just about everything John Cena does or that he acts in. I find it to be hilarious. I find him to be fun. What was it? Trainwreck, that movie with what's her nuts, the big burly broad,
Amy Schumer.
Yeah, Amy Schumer. There you go. Her. I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was great. You had John Cena naked with a towel on his winky. It was phenomenal. It was so funny. He played the kind of gay-ish boyfriend. It was great. I loved it. I think he's a really good actor. I think he's funny. I don't think he takes himself too seriously. I think The Rock is hilarious and is engaging. When this comes out, I will go see it, and I'll take my wife, and it'll be great.
Yes, sir. Good stuff, sir. In terms of The Rock and John Cena, it's a natural fit for them to do a movie together. Mm-hmm. John Cena's okay.
He's not The Rock.
Have you seen the movie I told you about, Blocked?
No, I haven't. I have not seen it yet.
It's funny. It's funny.
I got to go check that out, though. I have not had a chance to see it.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how John Cena's acting career is going to go. Just maybe a little too serious, not believable yet. Hasn't fully transformed into an actor just yet. You still see John Cena, the wrestler, when he's on screen, but he's very funny.
Yes.
Very funny to put him in those situations.
Do you think it's maybe more his physique? Because he's a big, thick dude, man. And The Rock has one of those bodies where he can transform. He can either really fill out and be super muscular, or he can kind of not lift as heavy and really lean out and look almost like a regular dude who's just really, really good shape. So do you think maybe it's just Cena's physique? He's just so massive?
Yeah, I think that's too, and the fact that in some of the roles that he's taken on, he's still serious, and he's not. It's not to be an actor. You have to believe the character morphs into the person you're seeing on the screen. The Rock has done that now. You don't see The Rock WWE guy. You see The Rock in any of the characters. He morphs into it. You believe the character. John Cena, still a little bit stiff, needs a little bit more work, more reps in that realm so that you don't see. That's John Cena, the wrestler. That's all I'm saying.
I gotcha. Makes sense.
Yes, sir. Great stuff, sir. I thought this podcast might go 90 minutes. We got it in at 35. Awesome. That means we can streamline the shows in a timely manner, bring the noise, deliver, and get in and get out like a good quality match. Because that's what you say. In a good wrestling match, you leave them wanting more. You don't say, hey, this is dragging on too much. No boring chants here on the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. And thanks again to Big Dennis Farrell for promoting our podcast, and we're promoting his as well. He's doing great stuff. So follow Dennis at Dennis77Farrell. Good plug for him. He's a good dude, and he's doing great things in the world of wrestling, just like DocNJock.
Yeah, Dennis is awesome. You guys go check his stuff out. He is the podfather. He's the reason why we do stuff every single week.
You know it, and it's great stuff. So for the Jock, Adam Strozinski, I am the reality superstar, the DOC. See everybody next week, man. Can't wait.